I'm sure you've missed me. Hey, Kaffy, sexy baby, bossabo, fine bobo, bossabo. Hey. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of the Divorced But Not Defeated series on the Justkaffy podcast. Yes, I know it's been a while. The last time I really posted was it in February, and there was this big gap, between March, April, and now we are in May. But I know I did make up for it, though. And I had to do so because there was a lot of in-betweens, and it's part of what I want to even express and discuss today. And there was a lot of work I needed to focus on. My children changed schools, so there was just a lot of things going on. And somewhere in my spirit, I couldn't just speak. There's a leading in you sometimes that just says, "Be quiet. Don't say anything." I just got to that phase where I didn't want to talk, because sometimes people don't know that when you are the type that have to coach, mentor, or share, it takes something from you. It's an energy that is expelled. And I just felt somewhere depleted, and I wanted to just rest from it all. And that's why I had that moment of, that break. And when I was ready, I knew I was ready. And I said, okay, I already had materials actually that I did not even post, but I was like, you know what? I'm ready. Okay, these 4 episodes I already had, let me schedule them out. And that's what you guys have actually been, in like 1 week, I practically just put it out there for you all to listen to. And now we are about to, we have like 4 more episodes before this season is over. And before then, we're just going to be touching on a lot of topics. So in a situation where, a relationship is terminated, there is heartbreak. And like I said in my last episodes, that emotional pain, physical pain, I don't even know which one is harder on the human mind, body, and soul. They both carry a lot of weight and can be equally devastating. Just the same way you bleed externally, you do bleed internally. And if you don't deal with all of these issues, you will continue to bleed on people even when you think that you have healed. And this is one of the things that I want to talk about today. Today's topic is dealing with depression, anxiety, fear, and pain. It is very depressing to feel betrayed. And I'm not talking only about romantic relationship here. Any relationship where betrayal comes in, it's the most devastating feeling ever. Like, it feels like literally knives are being poked into your heart and ripped out and poked. And it's a feeling that only those that have been there will be able to, relate with me. And psychologically, the threshold, like the pain inflicted to a betrayed person, is the brain signals it, scientifically it's been tested that the way the brain reacts to certain pain is the same way it reacts to mental pain, psychological pain, physical pain, and psychological pain. They operate in the same level when it comes to the mind. The mind cannot separate that, and that's why it hurts. And it can lead to illness and even death. So that's why when we live in a society that belittles the people's mental health, it's almost nearly impossible for you not to have, an average citizen being toxic in nature, because now we have to develop coping mechanisms that are not favorable to human coexistence at all. So, talking about depression, some people look like, Kaffy, you don't look like, have you ever been depressed? How do you handle depression? Like, how do you just look like someone that just wants to live life? You're always full of life. No, I am not always full of life. I decide to be full of life. Dealing with depression it's a lot of phases of different trauma going on. You have the withdrawal syndrome, you have the dealing with the attachment to the person, dealing with the pain, dealing with the questioning on yourself, dealing with the part where you're like, what did I do wrong? Why am I wrong? You first of all castigate yourself, tear yourself down inside the tear that is tearing you already. there's so much. Then you now start having rapid heartbeat moments. You're anxious, anxiety goes in. You don't trust yourself anymore. You doubt yourself. There's nothing you want to do, can't do, will do, should do that looks enough even for you as a human being to sustain, to live for anymore. Everything just looks like, why am I doing this? At some point, you will be so sunken in a state where by getting up to do anything, you'll be in the middle of a dirty room. You will not take your bath. You don't have the desire to live. You don't have the desire to be, to feel, to like anything that is good is no more desirable. That's depression. And for me, dealing with it, I've dealt it on different levels because there are different levels to it. There are some. It's okay to have depressing moments, but it's not okay to sit and stay and linger. It's the lingering that becomes a problem, because when you now become comfortable in your pain, because you don't want to forget the fact that thing has happened to you, or you don't want to forget the memory of what it is. Sometimes we hold on to the pain for some reasons that seems almost like you need validation that the pain occurred, and you need people to know that pain is there, and you need the person that inflicted the pain to know that the pain is there. So you hold on to the pain so that the pain can show that it's there, so that it gives you the reason to act from the place of pain, so that when you're asked about the pain, you're able to lash out from the place of pain. And that just is like a cycle of wasting of your life. Because there's one thing that I realized when I'm in a depressive mood, that the world is going to go on. If you die now, see, if you are popular, they will celebrate you once in a while. If you are not popular, the people that know you will say candlelight, if they gather safe. Some people, they just die. People just say, he died. You have died. You have go. So when you start understanding that the fact that you're alive today is not by your will, by power, it's not even by the power of the person that betrayed you, it's by the power of God, you start to embrace that notion. Now, let me tell you something. No matter how much soothsaying or how many sermons, soothsaying, therapy, and everything that you hear, all of that are part of the operation of healing you. It doesn't take away the pain immediately. Sometimes we look for instant pain relief. And in the place of looking for instant pain relief, if you take the wrong drugs, we get addicted to those drugs. And even when the pain is gone, we'll still be taking those drugs for a pain that is no more there. We get addicted to it, and we now cause another problem, another damage. Liver function fail, kidney function fail. That is how you start to fail even as a human being, because you have now adopted a coping mechanism that should only be used as a first aid. It's almost like having a wound and a cut, and you know the first thing you do for a bleeding thing is to want to stop the bleeding so that the blood can coagulate and start the healing process. Then the skin starts to graft itself and starts to heal itself. Then yes, scars are going to be there, but healing is going to take place. However, imagine you put spirit, then you put spirit, then you put spirit, then you put spirit. Stop, blood has stopped, you still put spirit. Afterwards, spirit is not going to be doing anything. It's just your mind of knowing that spirit is going on the wound. Spirit has done its work. Or you keep peeling it to add spirit, then you peel it to add spirit. So there are series of steps and a combination of things that needs to be done to actually help you through that phase. I have been through different periods of pain in my life and depression in my life that I found out that some of this coping mechanism did not allow me find and uproot the root cause of why I find myself in a repetitive cycle that brings about those betrayal. And I'm talking about both romantic and relational, like as long as human beings that we are dealing with. And because of that, I was not totally free from what was creating the cycle that brought about the selection and decisions that I made with the people that I made that created the opportunity for betrayal. Now, this is not to say that every human being will have a genie in the bottle moment, or you have a psychic power to always know when somebody wants to be bad. People will want people to be bad, whether you like it or not, whether you're good to them or not, whether you set boundaries or not. People would always be bad, and we need to realize that humanity is flawed. So there is no one person that cannot mess up, and knowing that is knowing peace. So knowing that is knowing peace. However, What is most important is your personal journey to self-discovery, freedom from the anchors that puts you into a place where the system that you are using to operate has elements that has been built in them that keeps yielding the same kind of results. And I was able to find this out because I was seeking for those answers. I now realize that while I can blame those that have done me bad, done me wrong, blame my ex and all of that, I need to check, why did I make that decision? How did I get here? What am I needy of? Why the neediness? Why am I this attached? What is causing this attachment? Why? There was a lot of why. And in the seeking the why, I was tracing a lot of things to childhood traumas. And I'm going to talk about that in another episode. But this episode is really about the process of dealing with depression. And one of the things I am using this last 10 minutes to emphasize is that you need to face the pain. You need to face your Goliath. Because the moment you are anointed for who you wanted to be, your Goliath has sprung up. And you need to face your Goliath. And the only way the Goliath is going to be knocked down is by you being there, armored up, getting ready, and throw your 5 tiny stones that you have, which is all the strength you have, everything that is left in you, and throw it at Goliath and say, I'm taking you down. Now Goliath is big and is mighty. And you need to be prepared for that. In the preparation, you need to seek, sort, fetch, plan, whatever it is, put yourself in different steps, surround yourself with all that can help you get out of the space that makes you feel less of who you are. Nobody should have the power to do that to you. We put a lot of people on pedestals that they do not deserve out of our own needs that we actually absorb from them based on inadequacies that we believe we have. And with those inadequacies, we have not been able to develop that side of ourselves to realize that we can be sufficient in ourselves because God has made us in his image. So in us is God, and that God in us is sufficient to be who you are to be. It's sufficient for you to become you. And it's that lack of understanding and that robbery from childhood where some of those elements that fortifies who we are in becoming has been taken away, and we now start seeking it externally. And the moment you seek it externally, you are giving somebody the power to put you in a depressive state, to put you in a state of anxiety, to put you in a state of fear, to put you in a state where you don't just believe in yourself. So I put it to you today that it's a state. It's not a destination. You are the one that can take yourself out of it. Nobody can love you better out of a situation when you need to love yourself. I have always done my stuff and everything I've become from an external validating perspective because I've always had to prove a point. The only time I get to hear I love you is when I prove a point. The only time I get to hear you're a good person is when I prove a point. So I kept proving points and I kept losing me. So that way, I lost me. I'm losing me. I'm giving out me. I'm depleting in me. How am I not setting myself up for the disaster? Because I don't even allow myself to tend to my own garden in order to tender the crops of who I am and now create a protective system for who I am. Like, let me tell you something. Look, the world is very, very wicked. And no matter how pure, honest, loving, faithful you are, you're going to meet bad people. You don't have to be bad to meet bad people. And some people are bad and they meet good people. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is very, very important for you to put yourself in a place where you can tell yourself the naked truth, and it will sting and it will hurt and it will pain you, but you will heal better because you need to not create abscess. When you heal prematurely, because you want to distract yourself with work, that's not the best way to distract yourself with work, put more pressure on a pressured mind. I had to get to a point where I told myself, I don't want to do anything and it's okay. I don't want to go to work and it's okay. But not go to work and not be productive. It's not every time that you are not working that you are not working. So you need to know that it's okay to let go. It's okay to let God. When they say let go and let God, We literally are very hypocritical about some of the statements we make when it comes to God. I give you my all, but we are not. We're still holding on to our pain. I let go, but we are still holding on to some doubt. You're holding on to so many things. At the same time, we're thinking that we are letting go. We now create coping mechanisms that looks like a ragmaro of healing, but it's creating abscess. I've experienced something lately in my life in the past couple of months that stuck a wound that was already there, but went so deep to reveal abscess where I thought I had healed. It took one more level of betrayal, of trust, to penetrate that and enter in a deeper level than ever before. And this is not even romantic. This is even from a relational perspective. Somebody you trust so much. But God was using that as a pruning season. See, no one can replace God. When you have that, I had my friend I always talk to, I know 5 hours, 6 hours, and nobody else, I was there, you are replacing God. How much fellowship do you have with God? How much conversation do you have with your Father? Or is he only the person you talk to when you want to ask, when you want to deal with? Can you see that kind of relationship? But we don't want anybody to do that to us as a human being. He only comes to me when he wants something. He only comes to me when he needs a problem solved. But that is what we do with God. Do we just have a relationship with him just because he's God? Just because he's God, we are there. As I said, we need to dwell. We will be praying, you understand? I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Dwelling is not visiting and going. Dwelling is staying and living with God. I would say this last experience brought me closer to God than everything else. Yes, my marriage and divorce opened my eyes to how much God needs to be more and to operate in a kingdom status than anything else. But these few months taught me even more how unreliable human beings are. And it's because it's not fault of theirs. It's because we place people on a pedestal that they don't deserve. We put people in a place where God is. We say, God, you are my survivor, you are my provider, you are my everything. But we now get so hurt and disappointed when a human being is not able to meet up to their promises. It's only God that will make a human being help fulfill the promises. If you rely on God, God will position you in the right place with the right person at the right time for those favors to come. Especially when you move towards that. So I'm going to round this up to say, let go and let God. The state you are in is not permanent. When you hear no condition is permanent, I think sometimes when we are in pain, because of how painful it is, we think we are gone. It is not permanent. People say time heals, but time does not heal carelessly. It takes time to heal. But what you do with the time of healing, it would actually guarantee the quality of the outcome of that healing. And the quality of the better you that will be there. I urge and pray for all of us to thrive to be better versions of ourselves, because trust me, a lot of us are coming from a place that is so damaged that we can't even identify the damage early enough. Most of it can be traced to childhood, how you were treated, whether you had parents that abandoned you when you were small, emotionally unavailable, family members, or you had to do so much to get I love you from your father, your mother. There are countless of reasons of things that leads us to who we are as grown-ups. And I've come to realize that there's so much more. I'll be touching on various aspects of this in the nearest future. This is just a generalization version of what it is, but the key message here is your condition is not permanent. Don't run away from the pain. Face it just like a doctor will face a situation in the surgery room and start to fix it. God is the first and master fixer, then secondly you, because he is a God of will. He's not a dictator. You need to commit to it, then he will start operating. Give yourself to him and he will start operating. I want to pray life into you right now and I want you to tell yourself that I am healed, that I am the author of my life with God who is in me, who I allow to take control of my cruise ship. I will not just be living on a cruise, but I shall be on a cruise controlled by the Holy Spirit and by God himself. God bless you all and see you next time.